What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of South Stand Signings. And in today's episode, Leeds United miss out on Khabib Diara in a late shock twist as the player moves to Sunderland. Leeds United moving one step closer potentially to bringing in Douglas Luiz. Noah Siddiqui could be making his way over to Elland Road. We're interested in a supreme goalkeeper coming out of Lyon, France. And James McAtee might be back on the table. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of South Stand Signings. This is your boy JT. And let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get straight into the action. And I believe there is only one place to start, and that is with Khabib Diara. We spoke about him a little bit yesterday, and a lot of you were very interested in the acquisition, thinking about the potential partnerships he could be making in there in the midfield with Tanaka, etc. Well, unfortunately, Sunderland have closed in on a €35 million deal for him. I don't know why they've said £35 million deal here. As you can see, 31.5 million euros plus €4 million add-on, around 35 million euros for the main man himself. And apparently, Leeds were willing to match some sort of bid, but £30 million for Khabib Diara is quite a stretch. It could end up being an absolute masterstroke by Sunderland, who are really flexing their muscles with this one. I wasn't expecting them to come out all guns blazing podcast style like that, but unfortunately, it is a deal off the table. Now, apparently there are some stories coming around the potential reason Leeds did miss out on him. It was certainly a shock that he made the switch over to Sunderland instead, after Leeds only tabled a £24 million bid for Lassana Diarra, which was not enough for the deal. But the real question is, did the Whites hierarchy feel they could match Sunderland's £30 million proposal? Well, I think that we should be able to match their £30 million proposal. I don't know why we wouldn't have more money than them, but I guess maybe they were saving the money for other positions, because for me, I think if you're going to spend big, it's got to be that number 10 and that number 9. Those are the two positions Leeds United really need. Let me know what you guys think about that one. But it is also being reported that Leeds do have some big things in the offing. £27 million up front plus $3 million in add-ons is a huge fee for Diarra. Let me know if you think Leeds should have gone big for him, or if you're happy that Sunderland beat us to the post and you think £30 million is a little bit too much for someone of Diarra's relatively unproven experience, especially coming into a newly promoted Premier League side when there are options on the table like Douglas Luiz, who could be a little bit more effective. Of course, the window is still open for another chunk. Now, that could spare up some transfer fees for this man right here, Mr. James McAtee. James McAtee, who is, of course, valued at £25 million, is now ready to move clubs. But where is he moving? He's attracted a lot of interest from the continent of Europe. Of course, various Bundesliga clubs have been stated to be interested in him. Would he want to stay in English football is an argument that could be had. Obviously, since the Bielsa days, we've been linked with James McAtee. He has been a name that hasn't escaped Leeds. Even when we were in the Championship, we were linked with James McAtee. So he could be someone who Leeds could finally close in on getting. And apparently England's captain has no regrets over choosing Euro 2025 over the Club World Cup with City, opting to go with Lee Carsley's side and, get some England caps under his belt, even though it is the under-21s. Big game for them today, of course, the finale at 8 o'clock. Speaking to the BBC on Friday, he said, "It's a tough one to answer. I don't regret my decision at all. I'm happy here. This will be a special occasion for me. I'm so excited to play tomorrow." And obviously, with his age, you would expect him to potentially be playing in that Club World Cup if he was featured in City's long-term plans, but it does really look like he is gearing up for a move away. Will he move to Europe? Will he move to England? We'll keep you updated when more information does prevail on that one. Now, looking slightly further back on the pitch, Leeds United could be getting another defender who has relative experience in English football, of course, being Julio, who can play both at centre-back and at full-back if needed for cover. Leeds are well aware that the step up quality in quality from the Championship to the Premier League is a big one. Brighton centre-back Julio has now been targeted, but Leeds will face stiff competition for his signature, with big changes expected at Elland Road. Of course, he had an injury-hit season this year, which is why he hasn't really locked down too much of a place in Brighton, and he is looking for a move. But of course, we've got Bijol, Struijk, Ampadu, Rodon. Is this the centre half that Leeds should be getting? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% convinced either. But let me know what you guys have to say about this one. Are you happy with Julio? For me, listen, 27 years of age. I think we should be going for someone a little bit younger. I think we've got experience with Joe Rodon. Listen, Bijol, the new signing, of course, is going to take him a little bit of time to fit in. Do I want to sign another defender? I think if you're going to go for experience, I would want someone who has a lot more Premier League experience than Julio does. Someone who's had a good few years in the Premier League if you're going for a slightly more experienced defender. But the fact that he can fill in at left back with obviously the whole debacle around Senior Firpo, it could be an interesting one for the 49ers to look at. Now, this headline right here could deceive you. Could really deceive you. Big Piro upgrade leads in the race to design deceptively quick £21 million star. Now, of course, we only signed Piro for 19 million, and that was in the Championship. So if we're hanging our hat on a number 9 in the Premier League, I wouldn't be going for another Championship player who is only £2 million more than the player we just signed, who was firing on all cylinders in the Championship before we brought him in. Now, the player in question is, of course, Joshua Sargent, who is a name that is familiar with all of you guys. Of course, we followed the Championship for a lot of years in my lifetime, but the past couple of years, and Josh Sargent has been relatively in form, was relatively in form this year for a Norwich side who, of course, weren't creating anywhere near the chances Leeds were. But I just don't. I'm putting a dampener on it already, mate. I'm giving my opinion before I even ask yours, which, you know, could be a bit of a criminal statement. But I'm not enthused with this at all. At all. I don't care what his stats say, mate. He is not good enough Premier League quality for me. I want us to really sign a top European striker. Maybe I'm delusional in thinking we can get that, but Joshua Sargent, am I well off piece with this one? Not happy with it at all. But it could be someone Leeds are able to swoop in quickly for and maybe get a little bit of revenge on Norwich and double up, kill two birds with one stone after they stole all of our players when they got promoted before. Another midfielder Leeds are rumoured to be interested in is midfielder Khabib Diarra, according to Sacha Tagliafieri, who sent us down a fucking absolute rabbit hole last year, telling us we were going to sign players that we didn't end up signing. Couple of ones that was. Leeds are interested in signing Khabib Diarra, the 25-year-old from Angers. The Algerian international is a target for the newly promoted club. Of course, after missing out on the 21-year-old Khabib Diara, with him set to join Sunderland. The 25-year-old played a crucial role in Angers' run to retain their place in Ligue 1, scoring 6 goals and registering a solitary Uno assist in 32 appearances. Again, decent option, but not one that is going to get your spine tingling as a Leeds fan, in my opinion. But something that might be a little bit more of interest to you is the goalkeeper situation. I'm sure a lot of you guys want Illan Meslier good as gone and out of your memory. I'm one of those people who actually does really rate Illan Meslier, which is, you know, a bit criminal to say according to a lot of you lot. But, of course, Lyon's Lucas Perry is the latest name to hit the transfer rumours. And according to a report from L'Equipe, the Leeds United are interested in making a move for Lucas Perry from Lyon during the summer transfer window. The Brazil goalkeeper could be available on a cut-price deal, with pressure from Olympique Lyon to raise finances following the decision from the DNGCG to relegate them to Ligue 2 due to poor financial management. Yeah, that was one that really rocked the footballing world, seeing Lyon get relegated down to Ligue 2. But Yeah, 15 million euros is the reported price. Could be a good option for Leeds United, and of course one that wouldn't be too hard to get after their financial struggles. We could get him on the cheap. Could be a little bit of a steal in my opinion, and I wouldn't mind dropping 15 million euros, somewhere around the 10 million pound range, for a new goalkeeper, and that would allow us to invest more in the forward areas in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think about all of these stories down in the comment section down below. Of course, Ilham Melier linked to move over to Turkey. Daniel James close to securing a new contract at Leeds United. We spoke about that yesterday. And of course, Timothy Weah is someone who Leeds also have an outside shot of getting. Not proven, can play on the wing, can play up front. Probably a little bit more excited about that than Joshua Sargent, in my opinion, just because he does have an outside scope of developing into a better player than Josh Sargent, in my opinion. But maybe I'm just being a little bit of a continental snob on that one. Other names that Leeds are linked with today are Nick Pope, Gustavo Hamer, Reynaldo, who I'd be actually very interested in, Igor Pajau, Evan Ferguson with a loan to buy. But these stories have not picked up any traction so far today. So let me know what you guys think about all of that down in the comment section down below. For now, though, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.